What's going on? Today, I want to make a portable jet ski stand. One that can go in the garage or on the beach. We're going to be using whatever materials I have that I have just laying in the garage. Come with me and we'll make it together. So you may be asking yourself, why don't I just go out and buy a stand? Well, the truth is I want to stand for the beach, also for the garage. Whenever you go to these events, jet ski events, stand up, all these guys have PVC stands, but their jet skis only weigh a couple 100 pounds. When my jet ski's filled with all the stuff I have in there and a full tank of gas, I think it could be anywhere from 700 pounds. So I need something a little bit stronger. I don't really trust PVC, and I don't want to throw my baby on it.
Know your place, trash.
This stand should be small enough and light enough for me to pick it up and put it next to somewhere near the beach where we're going to be at for a long day. That way, every time I want to go park the ski, I don't have to worry about putting the anchor down and floating it out in the water, swimming back. As soon as I'm done riding, all I got to do is pull it on that stand. It gets it mostly out of the water. It stays there. I can either hook it up to make sure it doesn't fall, bring it back to the beach, throw it on the stand, and leave it and forget about it. Come back later, easily pull it back off and put it back on. I don't need to worry about my ski floating off and hitting anybody else's ski or deal with it while I'm out there having fun at the events. So the main thing we gotta do is make this square, throw a couple mounts on there, throw some bunks on there, and I'm gonna put rollers on the back too. Make all the mounts, weld them up, and we're pretty much good to go. So stick with me, let's get to it. The good thing about having friends is my buddy was already making a welding bench, but he got a welding bench free, so he ended up giving me his square that he made for his welding bench. As you can see, it's already mostly a square. I cut it down for easier to fit in my truck. All I gotta do is make the major square. The main reason why I'm making it out of metal, well, as you can tell, is between Jeep builds and being a metal fabricator for part of my life, I have a bunch of old rusty steel. So we're gonna make it out of steel. We got a nice thin wall. We're gonna make it as light as possible, but still heavy duty enough to work on the jet ski. Right, now that I got some stuff cut, I can show you guys what I'm working with. I ended up grabbing some of this, I think it's 2.5 regular square bar, about 1/8 inch thick. I also got some DOM tubing. This is left over from when I used to work on my Jeep. I think this is the front fenders that I pretty much had left over too. So the best way to make a bracket that I found out when I make a bracket design like this is I just grab a tube, I grab a square, I put the square in there, and then this acts as like almost like a shock tower, and this will hold the actual mount I want. This allows it to turn, and the only thing you gotta do is grab some rubber bushings. This is about 1.25 inches, I want to say. These bad boys will slide right in there. Then you put a bolt through here, and then it'll move freely. First thing I gotta do is I gotta get rid of these edges and get all this rust off of it. Anyone knows how dirty and disgusting this is gonna be, so I'll hurry it up and show you guys the end result. First thing you want to do is grab one of these sanding pads. I choose to use one of these sanding pads you can use on a 4.5 inch grinder. Just take it off faster and comes out with a nicer finish. All right, now that we got that cleaned up, it's time to show you guys these mounts. Square tube, just how I showed you how I cut it. Round DOM tubing, those 2 pieces of rubber. This guy, go straight in there, put your bolt through it. On the top, these plates are gonna be welded there, and this is what's gonna mount the 2x4 for the bunks. These can get welded right onto here with the 2x4, and it's gonna allow it to go back and forth. Now, I'm not gonna bore you with making all of those. I've already made all of them for the rear and the front. One problem you're going to have is when you get free metal or any metal that you're just trying to repurpose something, sometimes it's just not the right length. So as you can tell, I have a gap here and I have a gap here. What I'm going to try to do is get as close as possible, and then I'll just fill in the rest of the welder. Kind of pays to be a pretty good welder. I ended up using an old chain and an old couple I had from back when I used to work in trailer repair. It's been sitting at the garage forever, so I ended up getting both parts touching. So we're ready to weld them in and get the stand made.
Nice.
All right, now that we got most of the stand done, now I was trying to figure out where we're gonna put the bunks at. So I go over my jet ski, and the bunks are roughly about 18 inches apart on the bunks. That's what we're gonna stick with. Both jet skis have the same area. Both of them work together. I am thinking about making the top a little more narrow just so it has a little V to it. We'll see how it turns out as soon as I start getting it mocked up. As you can see here, this is going to be the mount for the 2x4. This is what's going to hold the bunk. All you got to do is drill 2 holes right here, mount this on the upright. All right, we got those mounts welded up. All you gotta do is mount them, throw the boards on, see where we're at. And I got one more thing to add. I am going to put 2 rollers on the back. So when I go up to it, kind of goes up the roller and then rests on the actual stand. You would notice that my actual stand is taller on this side than it is on this side. My theory behind that is that every time you go to water, put it right on the bank, it's gonna be higher on the bank than it is about 4 foot behind the bank. So what I'm hoping is that when this side's down in the water, this side will be in the shallow end, and then it'll kind of make the boards even. It's gonna go up the rollers on the bunks, and when it sits, it's just to be mostly even compared to the bank of the sand it's sitting on. So we'll see how it all turns out. All right, we got the uprights done. We got them all welded in. We got the boards on. This thing is pretty much ready to go. As I said, I only want to add one more thing. I want to add 2 rear rollers. I want the rollers to come up and guide me onto the boards, but I don't want the rollers holding me up because I don't want to fall off the actual stand. So when I put the wheels on, I'm going to mount them below these boards. What I figure is the top of this board is around about 12 inches. So 12 minus 2.5. Be 9.5. Okay, now that we got the stand mostly done, I ended up drilling some drain holes in there. That way when it goes in water, it'll fill up with water and it'll drain with water. That way it's not buoyant and it just lays on the ground. The last couple things we gotta do is install wheels, install the bunk pads, and we gotta paint it. For that, we're using Port 15, not sponsored. Port 15 is what I used to use back in the Jeep. You put it right on rusty metal or clean metal. The only thing is you really have to follow the steps. So this has the whole kit in there. Let's go ahead and get this thing painted. I really need to upgrade air compressors. Back with the old Milwaukee. All right, finally, after a full day of work, we're at the end of the road. I think it came out pretty awesome, exactly how I wanted it to. I never used these plastic bunks before, but I'd heard they're better than the carpet, and for what I want to do with them, with it being a little extra slick, I think it should work out great. We ended up putting both these wheels on. I'm hoping that the bow goes right here, goes up, and it lands right on top of here. Hopefully these are tall enough, but with my measurements, it should be. Fortunately, I do not have the ability to pick either of these up to test the actual stand, and as you can tell, it's dark out. Next week, we're actually going out and doing an event with the stand-up jet ski guys over there, Wisconsin Dells. So I have this stand with me, and I'm going to try it out with my camper. So stay tuned, both videos coming out and the Jet Blast video coming out. If you guys have any questions, be sure to leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe. We got a whole bunch of events coming on. A lot of camping adventures, jet ski adventures. Summer's right around the corner. So go ahead, and we'll see you soon.